What's up, guys? What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel for another life. And a lot of things are happening, or a lot of things are happening on Twitter, but nothing is really happening because all the news that's kind of coming out now are all basically speculations, and all the same, or like all the different newspapers, all the different outlets are basically picking up the same thing and recycling it in a different wording. Basically, that's what's happening. So no real news, just more speculations, I guess. Different speculations compared to last week, but nothing breaking. It's all, again, speculations. It's all assuming things. It's all hoping maybe that things will change, but a lot of things are coming out. Also, Elkann spoke a good 2 hours ago, I think, 3 hours ago. He spoke again. I think he has a private journalist because these quotes are coming out and nobody knows who is reporting these quotes of where they're coming from. But he doesn't speak like usually, or like what I would think. And before I get into it, like the video, subscribe to the channel. But he's the owner of the club. You want to hear from the owner basically via your club, like your official website or like Twitter, whatever you want to call it. These quotes are coming out from random newspapers and stuff. Like, I mean, you're the owner. You should be speaking up to your fans with the tools you have in hand, not just I don't know. Like I said, I think a personal journalist writing these quotes and spreading them around, but like he doesn't speak up to the fans. Basically, very weird. Because the previous two interviews he did were an extra meeting. Basically, they were not actually for the club or whatever you want to call it. And even today's news or his today's quotes came out. They were reported by Calcio Finanza, but nobody knows where they're coming from. Like he's not speaking on the official website of the club or whatever you want to call it. So very strange. But he spoke. He said a few things. Romeo spoke. Nico spoke. But like I said, it's all the same. They're kind of recycling it, but putting in different wording. Now, first of all, thanks everyone for watching or joining in. I will talk about the quote, the comments, who you want to replace them, all that stuff. But what has come out today, basically, very strange reporting actually, because out of nowhere, no, actually it starts on Sunday. You know when apparently Fabio Caressa had some breaking news, and I was live by chance. I wasn't live because he had some breaking news, but I planned that live way in advance. And he had absolutely no breaking news. It was basically a propaganda for Allegri. It was basically Allegri leaking stuff, and they were just reading it out. It made no sense, him pushing for the next gen to remain untouched, basically to not change, which is very strange because we know that he's not all about that. So a lot of propaganda. He, like Fabio Cresa, saying that he's not holding Giuntoli back and all those things, blah blah blah, and that came out of nowhere, because let's say 24 hours before that show, Di Marcio was saying, yeah, Giuntoli is a done deal, it's done, it's gonna happen, and then 24 hours he flipped completely, and it doesn't change in 24 hours like that. It doesn't change that quickly. So that show got debriefed by Allegri. That was a kind of a weird thing to do. Another weird thing that's coming out now is that it's Monblano, it's Romeo, it's a mix. But apparently, Calvo is not happy with Allegri, which could be the case. But he spawned out of nowhere this season. Like nobody knew where Calvo out of nothing came from. He's in place. He's in quote unquote control. He speaks for the club basically now. And I'm like, how did you mess up a relationship that started like 2-3 months ago? It did in the past a couple of years ago, but not to this level, to this extent. Very close, working very close with each other. How do you mess that up? And then there's also the funny thing is, out of nowhere, there's reporting that the entire board or the entire management is now thinking about, okay, we need to move on from Allegri, including Scanavino and Ferrero. And I'm like, hold on, these guys have no experience in the football world. They came out of nowhere. They're friends from Elkann, John Elkann. They're whatever you want to call it, lawyers, jurists, bankers, whatever. And you don't hear from them. They're just there to clean up the mess, basically, financially, because they don't speak up. You never hear from them. You never see them, to be honest. That might be a good thing, you might say, or a bad thing. But now they're also agreeing with, yeah, it's time to change. When you are having the feeling that those guys, Canavino, Ferrero, not being in place. It's not a plan to be there for the next coming 2, 3, 4, whatever years. It's just basically a springboard, because you need to have a president, you need to have a vice president, all those things, and they're just there to pass time until somebody else comes in and actually takes on that role, like full time, as you should be. So very strange reporting, and now it's Romeo coming out saying that his future is not 100% certain. That is actually he who is, or that was from Momblano, is Allegri who is kind of positioning himself to stay, and not really the club pushing for him to stay. Elkann spoke. He said something very interesting, but the other things were just very standard. They were very, we're gonna kind of accept what's coming, But then he added, I spoke to Allegri, and we're fully focused on the next 2 games to get Europe on the field. Now, 2 things: get Europe on the field means they know they're not gonna get in Europe, even on the field. Like, it's done. We're not gonna get in Europe next season, and it might even get worse for the following season. In Europe, so no Europe the following season, and starting the Serie A season with another punishment. Who knows? So that's that. But him saying we're fully focused, or Allegri is fully focused, he knows what the next 2 games mean. It's very strange, because why wouldn't he say he's fully focused to build a great new future for the club, But why focus on the next 2 games, which we know are pointless? They're completely pointless. So that's a very interesting thing. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the fact that he only mentioned the following 2 games is kind of telling, because the following 2 games are pointless. They mean absolutely nothing. You could have easily said, like I said, I talked to Allegri and we are fully focused together to build a great future in the coming years. It's very easy to say that as well. But he said the next 2 games. So is that might that be, a hint that he's gone, or that we're trying to move him on? Because I believe his time is up. A lot of people still do not believe that, which is your own opinion. But time is up. The only thing I give him credit for is him taking all the heat for an entire season, basically, or like, let's say, from January, because the points deduction, especially the questions the club should be answering, and not Allegri, because Man City got those, whatever you want to call it, 150 plus or breaches, or 120 breaches. I remember one presser from Pep Guardiola where he spoke up, he spoke about the situation, and other than that, it was gone. 2 different countries, obviously, but the club put out a very strong statement and they moved on. With us, it's put out Allegri and let him answering the question, because again, yesterday post game, I felt for him, because I thought he was gonna cry at one point answering a question, because he was mentally broken, and I understand why. Getting deducted points twice before kickoff is absolutely ridiculous. I think, besides the people putting out those punishments, everybody can agree with that. It's crazy, but we were not improving even before the ban. Remember September, August last season, we went on an 8 game winning streak without conceding goals. I came on and I said, it's not sustainable. Like in 3 to 4 games, we got away with a lot of stuff. I remember players missing sitters, Lukaku and others. It wasn't sustainable. That's the main issue. Like this is not sustainable because when we watch City, you know how they're gonna play, or Liverpool, or Napoli, or even Inter. To be honest, you know how they're gonna play. When when I'm watching Juve, I don't know because we are probably the only fan base who need confirmation on 5 to 4 players in the lineup every single week or every single match day 15 minutes before kickoff. Like usually a team, if you're a fan of a team, you know who's going to start. Maybe one, maybe 2 players, but that's already, with us it's 4 to 5 players get subbed every single week. Like there's no stability, there's no consistency. Once it's Miretti and then he plays him behind the strikers. He played him as a striker. He played him as a number 8. Okay, that doesn't work. Chiesa, right wing back, on the right, on the left, playing him as a support striker. That didn't work. Di Maria, same thing. He played him under number 8 this season once, right wing back. Okay, doesn't work. Behind the strikers, striker position. Like it's all over the place. Like these players get moved around so many times. There's no way you're gonna build any sort of chemistry or stability moving forward. That's the biggest issue. Like there's no improve. If I can see improvement, I will probably still have hope. But there's absolutely nothing. Like there's nothing. Every time you watch the club or watch us play, um, we said we were gonna win the Champions League. Rio, is that on me? Because I did not mention the Champions League. Um, oh, it's Dino. But the club is moving in no direction. Off the field, it will get worse. It will get worse. No Europe. We know what's coming. The money is not there. The situation is bad. You're gonna sell players, and you're gonna bring in players of a lower quality slash lower wages, obviously, but probably lower quality, and that's why, like what I said in January, I still believe he's gonna walk or find some sort of agreement to leave because I cannot see him doing this job or be happy to do this job basically because the team will get worse. Now imagine that, the, the first season the excuse was they were not his players. Okay, this season he gets Pogba, he wants Paredes, he wants Di Maria, he gets all those guys. And we got worse. Like we got like really bad. It became really bad. Now imagine if the club takes away a few quality players here and there and replaces them, with Rovella, with Fratesi, with I don't know. Name a few names that are cheap and we're probably gonna be after. How is this club? How is he gonna manage to turn this around with? You might suggest even lesser quality. How is he gonna do that? That's the worrying part. That's where I'm like, okay, we need something completely new because it will take time. The new guy coming in will need time to implement his thing, to implement his system, to get the players in over a period of time. Same for Juntali. I don't know if Juntali comes in and he will be doing an amazing job. I have no idea. He could flop completely. I just want somebody in with fresh ideas that has no ties with the club or hasn't had ties with the club for quite a long time and comes in with a completely different mindset. That's what I need. Because the last couple of years, it hasn't been like that. It's been promote Paratici, promote Cherubini, or get Arrivabene from Ferrari and bring in him. Like it was all jobs for France, which is now what's happening in the management, by the way. But Juntili will be something different. So I'm kind of looking forward to that if it actually happens because On Sunday apparently wasn't happening. Romeo, Monblano, Nico, everybody's reporting that Elkann chose him. It's just he needs to free himself from Napoli, De Laurentiis basically. That's what the problem is at this moment in time. But Elkann chose him, so that might be a good sign. You would think, um, but that's that. I'm okay with that rather than promoting Mana from the under 23s, who actually has done a great job. But again, he's been within the club for quite a while. I want something completely new, fresh ideas, not just yeah, be repetitive, because that basically happened with Paratici and co. Like it didn't really change. Like it got actually worse because they all agreed on a direction to go in that was suicidal for the club, as you can see now. But yeah, I will read out a few chats now because I haven't looked into that. Let me see. Oops. Let me get that up. Let me see. On field, I get you, but as done, well, could we with the current roster? I do not think the coaches could have done better with the roster he has. Basically, I completely disagree with that. I think the roster is not amazing, but it's good enough to not lose to not lose to not lose to Maccabi, not lose to um, Monza, Empoli. Name the teams. Like, it's not amazing. It's not world class. I'm not saying that, but it's not that bad as we have been showing this season. Like, it's really not that bad. And I don't rate a lot of these players, but he's playing these players. Nobody's forcing him to play Alexandro. Even yesterday, that was shambolic. Like, how many times is he gonna lose uh, a possession where he basically loses the possession for the sake of losing it? You know, not going into it. Savage, who was it last week? Empoli, like it's sad to watch. And on top of that, he's wearing the captain's armband, which is ridiculous. Those are all choices Allegri is making. It's not us saying play Alexandro. He's doing that, not us. So I don't agree. I think I think the team is good enough to have done much better than what has been done this season. And especially the main point is the way we set up, or the intentions we show when we play. Sevilla at home, we don't even go at them. Semi-final at home, and we don't go for it. Like, why? Why would we not go for it? It makes absolutely no sense. Um, if the rumors of Quadrado's renewal are true, excuse me, it shows the club has learned nothing. Surely they're not true. Yeah, I mean, if they are true, then I don't even want to think about it. Forget about it for now. It seems more like a personal vendetta between Agnelli and Sefrin. It is. Guido from Tuttosport, or the director of Tuttosport, painted a good picture yesterday when the announcement, was made on the punishment. It wasn't said we need to deduct points. We need to deduct 15 points, or 10 points, or 11 points, or 7 points based on rule this. The 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 ruling was basically, or the demand was, they need to start behind Roma. If that doesn't tell you what is happening, then what will? And it's actually the sad part is the club cannot even, it's not even winning this battle when it's very obvious. When it's very obvious what's happening. you know it's not based on rules, it's based on keep them out of Europe. Gravina being the vice president, you might say it's a conspiracy theory, or you think I'm believing conspiracy theory, but it's all adding up, it's all making sense when the prosecutor says they need to be behind Roma. So let's say if Roma were 20 points off top four. I'm just saying the point deduction will be 20 points. Like it's all random. It's all random. And yeah, I mean, Allegri has no imagination, and the players have lost all faith in him. Now is the time to get some new direction rebuilt. Yesterday was sad to watch. Even that last goal, I know it was 3-1, but even Gatti was like, "Yeah, I'm not bothered." You know, the third goal, it was like, "Yeah, whatever." You know, we were on top for 50 minutes. We had chances. We conceded a pen, ridiculous, stupid, fun, Milik, and we collapsed completely again. You know, not the first time. Like it's a recurring pattern that happens so many times that at one point you need to be like, okay, surely this is more than just it's been a point deduction, because it's been going on for 2 seasons now, not one. Even before the points deduction, like there's a team, and for some reason he's not getting a tune out of a lot of these players. Because if I ask you which player has improved under Allegri, you will probably say players. You will probably. I don't think if you're gonna say who has improved, you will probably name players as Fagioli, Gatti, Junior. But have they improved? Because we have not seen them before Allegri. They're just new, fresh, exciting, raw, and that makes you kind of believe like, okay, they have done well. But actually, players that have been improved over the last 2 seasons, not really, you know, because again, Gatti, all those players, they're new, they're raw. We haven't seen them before, so you cannot really compare and say, yeah, they have improved. You might say that with Fagioli, but again, it's Serie B, it's Serie A. It's just new, it's excited. That's what I'm trying to say. But other than that, like Chiesa got worse, injury or not. Like he's been back for a couple of months. He got worse. Period. Uh, Vlahovic, Di Maria, it looks terrible. I'm still struggling to be fully convinced with Locatelli because it's all over the place with him, in my opinion. Um, and name the others. You can, like, the backline hasn't improved. I thought Bremer struggled a lot, especially in the first part of the season. He picked it up kind of now, but like he struggled a lot. I don't know. Don't worry, believing in conspiracy theories is not as bad as it used to be. Yeah, the old club checked out. Maybe. The things that upset me the most are Allegri's comments in the post-game interviews and presser. Yeah, they are. I made a video. The video will drop tomorrow, but that's my biggest issue with him now. Like in 2 years' time, he never said this is on me. He like when we play bad or we lose, it's oh we didn't play bad, or it's this or it's that, or the youngsters need to learn, like the usual things. The youngsters need to learn when in that game Alexandro was at fault for a goal, but he doesn't say, you know what, Alexandro, experienced player, he messed up. When he messed up in the Supercoppa last season, was the Coppa against Inter, he said, oh, he was playing an excellent game up to that point. I'm like, yeah, but he's an experienced player and he messed up in the final minute that cost you the game. So there's no room for praise if we're being completely honest. You just need to be honest and be like, yeah, he's an experienced player. He shouldn't have been doing that. Period. You know, because if that was Fagioli and it was Fagioli against Sassuolo, he called him out and he benched him for like 3-4 games. So all these things, those things are actually bothering me the most, um, compared to actually how we play. Another coach could have maybe had less points than Allegri, but if we would have seen some involvement and building on the field and some renewing football to build next season, I could have lived with that. I think a lot of people could, you know, if it's something completely new, because Allegri is supposed to be an experienced coach. It's supposed to be a guy who can get the most out of these group of players, to improve players, to push on. And that's not happening. Now, if we were stuck with Pirlo, stuck for 2 seasons, and you saw improvement little by little, and even if you were struggling for top four, you could have maybe took that a little bit better than this. You know, you could have maybe endured that a little bit more. You know, you could have made some excuses. Some might have said, you know what, this club is too big to be fooling around, which is fair maybe. But in this situation, not. For the following guy coming in, he needs time if somebody else comes in, obviously, because players are gonna leave. There's no money, and the team needs some work. So it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. But this definitely is not the answer, because in 2 seasons time there's nothing. Like there's absolutely there's no improvement. I asked who improved, and the people said Danilo. I'm like, okay, fair, but like he's 30 plus years old. I like that's not really gonna help us in the long run, is it? Personally, that's my opinion. Like improve. He just pushed him out of his position and kind of saved his career. And he's had very good games, but also very poor games. Like those are not really the players I want to see improving. Those are the players I want to see be replaced in a very short future. Like the players I want to see improve are Chiesa, Vlahovic, Locatelli, Fagioli, Miretti, Junior, Gatti. Those are the players that should be improving, rather than the plus 32-year-old players that they're not going to be here for a very long time. Same for Sule. Like the Sule situation is absolutely ridiculous, because you have a Di Maria who cannot play 90 minutes week in, week out, has not been playing well, had injury problems, especially in the first part of the season. You have Cuadrado who's not playing well. No matter where he plays, right back, right wing back, it doesn't matter. And you only play Sule 3? Did he start 3, 4 games? Got a few minutes here and there. It makes no sense, because now, to this day, we still have no idea if he's good enough to kick on next season. We have no idea. And on top of that, Di Maria and Cuadrado are gone. So you have no other options. He needs to be kicking on next season, and we have not seen nearly enough to make that judgment if he's going to be good enough. Dominique says he's always available, at least. Are you talking about Danilo? That's okay, but like that's not the point I'm making. I'm talking about improving players. Like it's good that he's available. I have no problem with it, but I want to see the youngers improve, because they're gonna be here for a much longer time compared to Danilo, who is probably not gonna be here for a very long time, or shouldn't. So that's that. But actually improving, no player has improved, because if you need to sell Vlahovic, you're going to lose a lot of money at this point, unless the Premier League teams come in and they burn money. They don't think, and they do stupid things. Even Chiesa, like his value has collapsed completely. I mean, you say injuries, like Wirtz got an injury and he's firing back. So I don't know. Who do you think will want to take this position? Don't you think he risked his status taking this position in the first place after Pirlo? I don't think so. I think enough coaches will take on this position. Maybe not the coaches you want, or like me want personally, like top names. But I don't think we need a top name at this period, at this moment in time. We need somebody new, fresh, who's not scared to push on his ideas, and who will get time to build. Because again, the team is not perfect, but it's good enough in certain areas to build on. There's enough potential to kick on again. It will take time. You're not gonna go from this to competing for the Champions League final within 2-3 years. It's not gonna happen, obviously. But we're not even competing for the title for the last 3 years. So that will be already a big step forward, actually being in a title race, because we haven't been in one for a good 3 years now. So you might say that's a small improvement, but it isn't. If you look at Napoli, the difference is ridiculous at this moment in time. So that's already a big win. Let me see. Am I connect? I cannot get up. Yeah. Um, what else did I want to talk about? I think I covered everything I wanted to cover for today. I think so. Um, I did record a video that will drop tomorrow morning. And then I will have a live tomorrow, same time, and then I'm gone. I'm on holiday until Tuesday, so I'm gone for a couple of days. Good, away from all this. Um, I'm probably not gonna watch the Milan game or not fully invest in because I'm on holiday because it's pointless as well. So let's see how that will go. Milan need to play for something we don't like. So not sure that actually like imagine like we got dunked on by Empoli. Now imagine facing Milan with the same mindset. Like it could be a very ugly game, but actually I don't care. I think does anyone care about the game? I also see I have the date wrong on the video. That's crazy. Um, does anyone actually care about the game on Sunday? It's pointless. Even yes, like this is yesterday was the first time that after the second goal, I just stood up and was doing different stuff. I had the game on, but I wasn't really fully uh, invested in watching the game. You know, because it was just it was poor. Yes, fans care. Which fans? Unfortunately, I think we'll remain limbo for the next years. I think we need to focus on the youth and selling this year and see what we can do by the end of the season. Yeah, yeah. Like it's gonna be a very struggling couple of seasons. Hopefully not couple of seasons, but it will not bounce back really quickly. Or you need a miracle at this point. Um, but you need to cut the costs obviously with certain players, and you need to bring in different type of players. Um, but again, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with getting a sport. Like the transfer season is gonna open. You need to sell players, maybe sign play. I mean, if you're selling players, you need to gonna sign. You need to sign players. They're not gonna be world class players, but even if they're B C level players, you still need somebody to sign them. And we have no sporting director, so it's actually a madness that we are entering in all this, and we have absolutely no one, nobody. It's crazy. They need to step up and do something for the fans. Players are human too, and even if they're on contract, if they lose on Sunday, fans are not gonna really care and blame the players. You know what's gonna happen if we lose on Sunday. Even if we win on Sunday, it's not gonna change anything at the situation. Players know that. Everybody knows that. You saw that yesterday. It's not gonna change anything. Excuse me. What do you think? What do you think Allegri will leave in the next season, or just gonna? I'm not sure what you say. I will end with this question, and then I will wrap it up for today. Who do you think will be our coach next season? I said it in January. I do believe it's not going to be Allegri, but I have no idea who it's going to be. Um, out of the top of my head, I think the most likely name will be Tudor because I think he's the most easiest to get. You know, I don't think Fiorentina, if you want Italiano, are just gonna be happily. Commisso's gonna be like, yeah, take him. Spalletti, I will be shocked. And do I want Spalletti? Not really, because I don't know. Like he wanted, but I don't think he's a good fit for what we need. But yeah, we will link. We will be linked with Tudor or Juric, like those type of names. You will Paladino. Those are the names you will probably being linked with, but not sure. But I do believe it's not going to be Allegri. So who knows? Who knows? Bring back the fans to the stadiums. Yeah, that needs to happen as well. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Um, I'm gonna wrap it up. Because it's almost midnight over here. Thanks everybody for watching. Please, before you leave, like the video, subscribe to the channel because we just hit 4,000 subscribers, so that's nice. Thanks for everybody who is supporting the channel. Like, go watch tomorrow's video. And join me for tomorrow's live, and then I'm out for a couple of days. But thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you